Hello bakers! Do you ever start decorating something and you're trying to write like happy birthday or bark day in our cases, and all of a sudden your letters, like if it's an A, the icing starts to go into itself? I'm going to show you how to correct that and to get the perfect icing for details such as writing happy birthday or even decorating and putting flowers and everything like that. Now, what I'm going to do for you is start with the icing. In another video, I will go over how to do frosting videos, but the frosting would be basically the same kind of like feeling and consistency. So you'll get the idea when I'm done with this icing video. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a bowl here and I put some of our icing in, and if you caught my last video on flooding, I'm not telling you which icing product this is, but I'm doing that for a reason because I want you to realize that the directions on the icing bag, they do say for details. It's really just a base for you to get started on adding water. And I'm going to show you how most of us add our water. And I'm doing this for a good reason, because if you add powdered food coloring to this right now, you might need a little bit less water than somebody that's using maybe a liquid food color or a gel food color. If you have a really big bowl, sometimes when you mix the water in, it disperses it differently, so you might need more water. So I'm going to give you a good example, and on this little tip, I'm going to use a gel food coloring because on the last one I used a powder food coloring, and I want to just show you some differences. And it's okay if you use gel or powder or liquid, that's perfectly up to you. I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of water. And I know I'm going to need more than that, but let me just show you how it mixes. And I don't have a mixing spoon, so if you just hold on a second, my assistant is going to very carefully grab you one of those. Thank you, secret assistant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And it's obviously too powdery. And I'll tilt the bowl so you can see that. So 1 tablespoon certainly is not enough. And then I'm going to add, that's really powdery, so I personally know that I can add a whole tablespoon more of water. If this is your first time mixing, you should really kind of consider doing a teaspoon at a time. And then you can just write down how much water that you used. And then the next time you'll have a better idea of how much water to put in, right? Also, you will know by your own vision after a while. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you what the perfect detail consistency should look like so that you know what I'm talking about. And actually this might be it. This might be a little bit too loose, but if it's too loose, you can always add a little bit more of the icing mix to it. This one's pretty good though. It's a fine line between too thick and too thin. If this was too thick, I would have you add a little bit more water, because if it's really thick and it's piping out of the bag and it curls up and you have to push it down to stick to your cookie or your dog treat, you're gonna have a problem, because when that dries, it's going to just fall right off. So if that ever happened to you, that's the only reason why. You wanted to add maybe a teaspoon or even a half a teaspoon more water. So what I'm doing now is I just put a little tiny drop of an artificial food coloring, and it's blue, to this, and you can use artificial food coloring. It's all personal preference. The dogs won't mind, and they only eat such a small amount anyways. We tend to use all natural, but that's our own preference. Okay, so what a pretty color blue, and as you can tell, it's just 1 tiny little drop of the blue. And just so you know, in case you're in love with this blue, it's Electric Blue by Americolor. I don't mind sharing that information with you at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up my spoon and show you, and I'm also want to know if this is the right consistency. So I have this lifted, and it should not really blend into the icing below it. And actually it's doing a pretty good job. That is the perfect detail consistency for what I'm going to show you now. I'm going to write something on a flooded dog treat that I actually already dried. I let it air dry overnight, so this way I could show you this tip today. But the first thing I'm going to do is just put the icing with the detail consistency into my bag. And as you already know, I tend to put all my bags right into cups so that it'll hold the bag open for me. And this way I don't have to have 3 hands, 2 hands to help me out, because the cup offers me that luxury of just being right there for me and all set. So what I'm gonna do is just take the bag right out of the cup, and this is just a normal plastic drinking cup. You can use whatever you want. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of shake it around a little bit. Some people will helicopter a bag too, and I can show you that little trick. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like getting the air squeezed out as best as I can. And then I'm going to twist it around. And this is the helicopter trick in case you don't know, okay? So what this does is if you have icing and you don't wanna have air bubbles, that kind of helps to pop the air bubbles. That's just a little secret tip. And then what I'm gonna do is just clip the top. You can tie it, you can knot it, whatever works best for you. Chip clips come in handy and they hold it shut for me. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut a tiny, tiny little hole in my bag. And I'm going to put my glasses on for this because I need to see how small of a hole. And I have it over a paper towel so that it'll catch the little piece of plastic. And you can't really see this, but I'm just right across, just taking a little off the tip of this bag. Now this is called a tipless bag. You can also use tips from like Wilton and places like that. I'm testing this. This is a good consistency and my hole is perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my dog treat. This is just a random dog treat that I did it a day ago and I let it dry overnight. I let it air dry so the icing on top is perfectly dry. The reason why I did that was because when I write on this, the detail consistency will raise right on top of the dog treat. If this was wet, it would go into it and that might cause things like my O to close in. For this, I'm just gonna write a quick woof on it just to show you how to write a little bit. And what I'm doing over here is I have a paper towel and all I'm doing is wiping off the tip of my bag just to make sure that it's going to flow properly. So what I'll do is I'm gonna write woof because it has an O in it. And remember, I'm just doing this really fast, so. Oops, that's actually a good thing. What I could do with that is take my little scribe tool and connect it. There we go. But as you can tell, the O is not closing in on itself. So this is a really nice consistency, right? That's how easy this is. And in my next video, by the way, I'm gonna let this air dry overnight. And in my next video, I'm going to start showing you how to work with our frosting products.